Hey everyone, welcome back to TK's Tech Talk. So I've been looking around for some parts while things are crazy expensive at the moment, and I came across this Corsair 3500x case. It was on sale in the UAE during the recent sale, and it was for around £35. The Thermalright fans you see here, this is a 5-pack of Thermalright C12C, and they are around £12 I think. And then the Thermalright frozen Prism cooler you're looking at was around £25. So it was just under £100 for everything. And there's a little bit of ARGB on the cooler, which I was trying to avoid. I did have options of buying ARGB fans and ARGB Thermalright cooler for a similar price, but I wanted to try and do a build without ARGB this time. And it's a bit ironic because the case, typically people would build something like this case with the front and side panel all glass, with lighting to make it look nice, but I thought I'd try to see how it looks if it was all black. So I'll quickly bring the case forward. Let's have a quick look around it. Not going to go into too much details because there's plenty of videos and information about this case, but just a couple of things that I want to point out which I've noticed, and then we'll move on to the fans and the AIO. So my lighting is not great, but I've got the case open here, and there's a couple of things I wanted to point out. So one, as I mentioned before, it's got lots of cutouts for reverse connection motherboards, so that makes it compatible with multiple types of motherboards. But there is one thing that I noticed, which I'm not sure if it will be a big problem, but if you use a normal motherboard, the cutouts are here on the side. Now what I've noticed is if you use 140mm fans, which can be done, I think you can have two fans here, 140mm, there may be some issue with the cables going through. And because there is no space behind this fan grill, all of the cables for fans also have to go through here. So that might not be the nicest looking cable arrangement. I think something like the 6500X, which is more like a dual chamber case, avoids this issue by having more space at the back. The other thing is it's got two fans that can go on the bottom here, but again the power supply is going to be underneath that. Assuming the power supply is going to have some minor heat to it, there won't be unrestricted airflow coming from the bottom if you're using these as intake fans. Now obviously I've gone for a very budget oriented approach for this build here that I'm going to be doing soon, but the point is the fans that I have they're not going to be reverse fans, and I plan to use the fans here on the side, which means they won't be looking very good. So you will need to be mindful of that. If you're planning to use fans or an AIO, you will need reverse fans if you want it to look good. So I will be mounting the AIO at the top. I won't have to faff about with turning the fans around and things like that. We'll have to deal with the non-aesthetic fans on the side there, and I plan to put, because it's a 5-pack, I'll put one here on the bottom as an intake, and I will put one on the back as an exhaust. Probably should have moved the case back earlier, but one thing I wanted to point out was how easy it is to take the panels on and off. So I've got the glass panels off already. It's completely toolless. Even the top and the side panels, they all come off without any kind of screws. So let's just turn it to the side here and we'll demonstrate the same. So I'm just going to literally pull this off, and that's it. The case is off. So that's nice to see. It's got some space for cable management here. We do have the hard drive and SSD bays here. This case does not have the fan controller that you get with the iCooling case, I believe. So if you do put hard drives and SSDs here, it does remove the ability to use that if you use hard drives, sorry. So the hard drives will go on these brackets here, and the SSDs go on the back side over here. Okay, I've moved it to this side so you can see slightly better the hard drive cages. So we've got SSDs fit on the back of this panel comes off, and then you have screw holes here for mounting hard drives. And I believe the iCooling has a fan controller here, which is what this dent is for. But if you're going to use hard drives, it does anyway block that. So if you don't have the case with the iCooling from the beginning, you can customize it the way you want. Forgot to mention there's actually two thumb screws here, which allows this SSD bracket to come off. And then moving on to the power supply chamber at the bottom, it's got plenty of space there to fit a very decent sized power supply, and it's got space on the side there as well if you're using one of those power supplies that have connectors on the side like the RMX Shift. And of course it's a Corsair case, and that's a Corsair RMX power supply, so they would work quite nicely together. And then just to demonstrate how the top panel comes off, it's got a lever here. You just literally take it off like that, and gives you easy access to the fans and AIO installation from the top. And I'm going to be really lazy here to show you what's on top of the case. We have a power switch, two USB 3 ports, a USB Type-C port, a headphone jack, and a reset button. Okay, I think that's about it for the case. Let's move on to the fans and the AIO. Okay, so let's unbox the TL-C12C fans from Thermalright. Trusty kitchen knife is back to help with this one, and then we'll have a quick look around the box. So let me get all of that off. Right, I think this view might be a little bit better. So we can see here we have the front of the box TLC12C, nothing much on this side. The specs are here on the back. I'm hoping you can read that. Let me try and zoom in or focus on this just a little bit. If not, I'll just read it out to you. So we have a 120mm fan, 25mm thickness, 1550 RPM, 66 CFM airflow, 1.53mm H2O static pressure, 25.6 dBA noise. I'm assuming that's at maximum RPM, 4-pin PWM and a FDB bearing, whatever that might be. And then nothing much on this side. And back to the front, nothing much on the top and the bottom. Okay, we need trusty kitchen knife again to open up the box. So let's do that. Right, let's take a look inside this box. 5 fans neatly tucked away. Black screws, whoops, dropped those. And all nicely put inside. Let's get them out. No nonsense, simple packaging. A little bit of bedtime reading inside. And let's get the fans out of here. Okay, so we've got 5 identical fans. So let me get 4 of them out of the way so we can have a look at one of them in more detail. And one thing I didn't notice, this looks like it has a daisy chain option. So we have pass through or daisy chain. You can connect another fan into there, and then you just keep connecting them and have one go into your motherboard. So that's quite handy to have. So there's an all black fan, and like I said, I went for the all black fan this time rather than RGB. And the only downside, like I mentioned before, of when we put this onto the side of the case, we're going to have to rotate it. So having a look at the back of the fan, because it's all black, it's not too bad. I guess that white is a bit of an eyesore, but it's not too bad. It won't look too bad inside the case. But it would have been nice if we could have reversed the blade or had a reverse blade fan. But of course, like I mentioned, the main focus here was to try and get all of the parts, the case, the cooling, for less than £100 or $100, and see what we can achieve for that. And one more thing I noticed, which is nice, is sometimes when you buy a fan, you don't get the rubber support on both of the sides. Here, we've got it on the back and the front, so even if we do reverse them, we're not going to have a problem with mounting them or worry about, you know, there being only plastic touching on the metal there. It'll be nice and secure. Okay, let's move on to the AIO. Okay, let's open up this AIO, get trusty kitchen knife back in the picture again, and get all of this plastic off, and then we'll have a quick look around the box. So we have the frozen Prism 360 black all-in-one liquid cooler. It does say supports socket 1700. Now we have 1851. It should be physically the same, so we shouldn't really have any issue with that. Right, let's have a quick look around the box. So on the front, there's some pictures. On the right here, let's see if we can get all of that in. So we've got the dimensions for the water block, the radiator dimensions. The pump noise is less than 23 dBA. The pump speed is 3300 RPM. And then we have a 12 volt 4-pin PWM and a 5 volt ARGB, and the life expectancy is 40,000 hours. And then on the back side, we have just the information and the serial number, and then the bottom we saw earlier, and not much on the front. So let's get this opened up. Right, let's take a look inside. No stickers on this at least, just to open it up. A bit of foam on top first, and then we have some lovely bedtime reading. I keep saying that, but I'm sure it will be useful for some people. And then we have the AIO inside. Is there anything under this first? Let's have a look. Nope, let's get that out of the way, and then we can take a look at this properly. Right, let's take this out. Get all of the kit out. Okay, not sure what that says. It's not in English. Maybe you can translate it. And then we have the accessory box, I believe, for the mounting brackets, etc., and probably some paste. So let's have a look inside, and there we go, it's just the mounting gear. So I will put this to the side for now. And let's get the cooler out. Right, so here it is, all black, looking very nice. The fans look very clean on this one, and they're a bit different design to the C12C. They're actually different fans. I think it said on the box, and I forgot to read that out on the bottom. They are TLE12B V2 balance fans, so they're not the same as the C12C fans, but because we're going to have, I'm planning to mount the radiator like this, it should look more or less uniform in the color, at least in the case. And we've got the Thermalright logo there. These tubes feel really nice, to be honest. It feels like it's well made, even though it feels quite light compared to other AIOs I've played with in the past. This is the block, so we've got the full copper at the bottom there. Looks like a big plate there. And then the top of this, let me see if I can show you that easily. There's the top, obviously it's not showing anything right now because it's just the light that comes on. And then we have the power connector here. So this has the ARGB connector and the pass-through for the ARGB. And then we also have the PWM connector for the pump. And then all of the fans, now it looks like, what's interesting here, I just realized, is that these are not power sharing. Now for the price, we can't complain, but it would have been nice if they had wired this all together, or at least had the option to have some kind of power sharing technology to make it easier to connect this to the PC. So we'll worry about the cable management when we come to it. Let's just have a look around the rest of it. That's the radiator. You can just about see through it there actually. And same on the other side, it's got the logo. The tubes go up here. It really does feel very light, honestly. I think it'd be interesting to see how this works with the Core Ultra 270K Plus. So I was taking through the package that came with it, and I realized that there is some way of getting this connected together. I believe we put all of the fans into here, like so. There's the PWM splitter, I guess, and we put all the fans in here like this. Of course, we'll need to take all the wires off. I'm just doing this to demo how it works for now. And then we would have a single cable. So this does actually fix that problem. So I didn't notice that before. There we go. Guess it helps to read the bedtime reading sometimes. So we'll worry about the cable management and the orientation of the plate later on. For now, let me get the liquid cooler and the fans into the case, and let's see how it all looks. So I've got all of the fans and the AIO into the case. It all looks pretty neat. Like I mentioned before, you can see these wires exposed here on the fans on the side, and also the one on the bottom, because these are all going to be intake fans. And the only other thing is, for this fan here at the bottom, I had to use this screw which came with the case. You can't put the standard fan screws that come with the fans, or standard fans in any case, into that bottom fan. At least one fan has the correct orientation, one of the visible ones. That one has a Thermalright logo on the right side. The cable management is fairly straightforward. Put all of the wires through the side there, and we can do the cable management at the back. They're all daisy chain. One connector in the motherboard should fix that. I've left these wires on the AIO hanging for now, but they will also easily go out through the back and connect through that PWM connector that we saw earlier. And then we have the wire here for the fan at the back. So one good thing about the AIO, there is literally like a couple of more centimeters. This can move forward or back, it's on the extreme right at the moment. It can move more towards the left if you need it to. It's all going to depend on how this thing is going to position onto your motherboard, depending on which motherboard you're using. It is quite, the tubing is quite tight, but I think we can remove these things here to make it a bit more flexible and easier to manage. So that's a nice thing they've done there. At least it allows us to manage this cable nicely with these plastic things on it. And it makes it easier, once you've got it in place, to put those plastic grips wherever you need, and it will look nice and neat. So one thing I'd like to know is, once the cooler is in the case, do we have enough space in this case, at least with a cooler which is not so thick like the Arctic Liquid? If we have a motherboard put in now, how easy will it be? Will there be any clearance issues? I'd like to check that, so I think I'm going to do that as part of this video so you can see how it looks with the motherboard installed. Okay, so moving to the back of the case, you can see the cable management is not too bad. And we've got a lot of space here at the top, so we can move these fans up or down depending on what we want to do. And of course, that extra space, if you're using the radiator, it will allow the radiator to mount comfortably, because obviously you have that extra space on the top where the tubes go. And we've got plenty of space there for the power supply. And if you have an RMX shift or something similar, the cables can come out the side, and ample space for cable management. And just to quickly show you from the top, that's how the radiator looks installed from the top, all nice and clean. I think I'll put the back panel on so we can see how it looks with that installed. Okay, so this is how it looked with the back panel installed. It definitely looks more dark with that back there, no light coming from the other side. So this is a good idea of how it will look once the computer is fully built. And one last thing to test now is, do we have enough clearance here if we put the motherboard with the AIO already in the case? So I think I'm going to test that now so you can see it. Okay, I think this is a better angle so we can see there's plenty of clearance up here. So I don't think there should be an issue getting the motherboard in. So let's test it out now. Okay, so I'm hoping that this angle works out and you can see exactly what's going on. So that was easy enough. It's more or less lined up and still plenty of space to get through to those 8-pin EPS connectors at the top of the motherboard. Right, so let me screw this motherboard in and we can stand it up and see how it looks with the board inside. Okay, so here it is how it looks with the motherboard on. I haven't attached the CUDA yet. I'll leave that for the build video, but so far it's looking very neat and it's all fit comfortably inside and it has that dark sort of look. I wish the motherboard had more black on it, but this is fine. It is what it is for now. But just to give you an idea of how it looks with these parts installed. Right, let me just turn this around because what's nice about this Aorus motherboard, it's got a black I/O panel so we can see how it looks at the back of the case. And as you can see here, that black I/O panel fits nicely and it gives the all black aesthetic and it almost matches as well, which is nice. Okay, I think that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. Like I said, there will be a full build video with this. I'll probably be using some of the parts from this video, but at least you get an idea of how it looks without the RGB fans inside. With an all black aesthetic. Of course there could be some improvements made here, but here the main point of the case was to understand for this price, how does it look and how would it perform. So I will be doing benchmarks in that build video as well, so make sure you check that one out when it's up. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.